What's up, Lakers Nation? Today, we're diving deep into the numbers that will define the future of our team. Forget the court for a second. We're talking about the front office's biggest challenge, the 2025 salary cap. Understanding this is key to figuring out what moves the Lakers can and can't make. So grab your calculator and let's break it down. First, let's set the stage. The NBA's salary cap isn't just a simple limit. It's a complex system with luxury taxes, aprons, and exceptions. For the 2024-25 season, the salary cap is projected to be around $141 million. But the numbers that really matter for a team like the Lakers are the luxury tax line, projected at about $172 million, and the two dreaded aprons. The first apron is around $179 million, and the second, super punitive apron, is at $190 million. Crossing these aprons severely restricts a team's ability to sign players and make trades. It's like playing basketball with one hand tied behind your back. The Lakers front office will do everything they can to stay under that second apron. Now, let's talk about the big three contracts that shape our entire financial landscape. First up, the king himself, LeBron James. LeBron has a player option for the 2024-25 season worth a staggering $51.4 million. Every sign points to him opting in, especially if the Lakers draft his son Bronny. If he opts in, that's over a third of the entire salary cap dedicated to one player. While he's still playing at an elite level, that number puts immense pressure on the rest of the roster construction. If he were to surprisingly opt out and sign for less, it would open up a world of possibilities. But for now, we have to assume that $51.4 million is on the books. Next, we have Anthony Davis. AD is locked in with a massive contract extension that will pay him about $43.2 million next season. This is the first year of his new deal that runs all the way through 2028. Unlike LeBron, there's no question here. AD is the long-term cornerstone of this franchise, our defensive anchor, and an offensive force. He's worth every penny, and his contract is the foundation upon which this team is built for the foreseeable future. Having nearly $95 million tied up in just two players is both a blessing and a curse. It means we have two top-tier superstars, but it leaves very little room to maneuver financially. So, with LeBron and AD eating up about $95 million, what about the rest of the team? Let's look at the other guaranteed contracts. Rui Hachimura will be making $17 million. Austin Reeves is on one of the best value contracts in the league, earning about $13 million. Gabe Vincent is slated to make $11 million, Jard Vanderbilt will get $10.7 million, and Jalen Hood-Schifino will earn $2.5 million. When you add all those up, we're already at roughly $149 million for just 7 players. That's already over the projected salary cap of $141 million before we've even filled half the roster. This is the reality of being a top-heavy team in the modern NBA. Now, things get even more interesting when we look at the players with options. D'Angelo Russell has a player option for $18.7 million. This is one of the biggest dominoes of the offseason. After a roller coaster playoff performance, will he opt in or will he test free agency hoping for a longer-term deal elsewhere? If he opts in, the Lakers' payroll skyrockets to about $168 million, pushing them dangerously close to the luxury tax line with only 8 players. If he opts out, the Lakers suddenly have a bit more breathing room and a potential starting point guard spot to fill. Christian Wood also has a player option for $3 million, and Jackson Hayes has one for $2.5 million. These are smaller decisions, but in a tight cap situation, every million counts. Most experts expect them to opt in, which would bring our total committed salary, assuming D'Lo also opts in, to around $173 million for 10 players. That's already over the luxury tax line. So, if we assume the worst-case scenario where everyone opts in, the Lakers are at $173 million with 5 roster spots still to fill. The team would then only have access to veteran minimum contracts to round out the roster. They would also have their first-round draft pick, which will add another few million to the payroll. This path would essentially mean running it back with the same core group, plus a rookie and some minimum salary veterans. This isn't a strategy that inspires a ton of confidence for a championship run, especially given how last season ended. It severely limits the team's ability to improve through free agency. This is why the D'Angelo Russell decision is so critical. If he opts out, that $18.7 million comes off the books. The Lakers would then be sitting around $150 million in salary. They would still be over the cap, but they would have access to what's called the non-taxpayer mid-level exception, which is projected to be around $12.9 million. This would allow them to sign a quality role player, a significant upgrade over a minimum contract player. They could look for a starting caliber point guard to replace Delo or add another 3-and-D wing. This flexibility is crucial. However, if they use this exception, it hard caps them at the first apron, meaning they absolutely cannot go over that $179 million line for any reason. It's a high-stakes balancing act. Let's also consider the trade market. With so much money tied up in guaranteed deals, trades become the most realistic path to a major roster upgrade. Players like Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, and Jared Vanderbilt, with their mid-tier salaries, become valuable trade chips. The Lakers could package one or more of these players, along with future draft picks, to acquire a third star. Names like Trae Young or Donovan Mitchell are always floating around in rumors. A trade like that would completely reshape the team's finances and on-court identity, but it would also likely require giving up most, if not all, of their remaining assets. The front office has to decide if going all in for a third star is a better bet than trying to build a deeper, more balanced roster around LeBron and AD. And we can't forget about the new head coach. The style of play the new coach wants to implement will heavily influence which players the front office targets. Do they need more shooting? More perimeter defense? A true playmaking point guard? The coach's vision will dictate personnel decisions, and those decisions have to fit within these tight financial constraints. For example, if the new coach wants to play a fast-paced, five-out offense, a player like Gabe Vincent might be more valuable than a defensive specialist like Vanderbilt, making one more tradable than the other. So, what's the most likely outcome for the 2025 Lakers? It all hinges on those key player options. If D'Lo opts in, expect the Lakers to be a luxury tax team with very limited flexibility, likely looking for minor trades and filling out the roster with minimums. If he opts out, the door opens for the front office to use the mid-level exception to sign a key contributor and retool the supporting cast. The dream scenario for some fans, a trade for a third superstar, remains a possibility but would be incredibly difficult to pull off without gutting the team's depth and future draft capital. The Lakers are walking a financial tightrope. One wrong step could mean another year of just being a good team, not a great one. The pressure is on Rob Pelinka and the front office to navigate this complex cap situation and build a true contender around LeBron and AD for what could be their final run together. Thanks so much for watching and breaking down the numbers with me. It's a complicated puzzle, but that's what makes the NBA offseason so exciting. What do you think the Lakers should do? Let me know your master plan in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more Lakers content all year round. We'll be here tracking every move. See you in the next one.